Hello, I'm Mary Jackson. This is my interpersonal communication project for the last semester week. Basically, I would like to give you a slight introduction. We know that the overarching goal is the rebirth for myself personally. Redirecting my attitude, realigning, and considering what my perceptions are in life is very important. Doing this overarching goal will also mean that I'm weathering the process of learning at this time. Of course, this is something new in the way that we all do things, but it is a learning process. I will be utilizing tools learned during this semester to enhance my abilities as I pursue my counseling career. My listening skills will be enhanced, and also for my blended traits, personality blended traits, I will utilize that source also to enhance my listening skills and abilities. Truly, that's where I need most help at. My behavior patterns, as you see, I'm a fidgety person, and I have to consider that use of my hands where I will not be intimidating or causing any type of distractions. As I mentioned earlier, this is a learning journey. It's our social economic views that we have to look at, my spiritual guidance as a wanting to be in ministry, as a counselor, working in the community with the schools. I know that I have to have a non-judgmental attitude. Uh, Considering the circumstances, I know that I am no better than no one else. But I also have to be cautious of my facial expressions. I do have a tendency to want to frown. So I have to consider what that could imply to someone. Many times I've heard remarks like, "Why are you frowning?" Or "Why are you looking like that?" We also have learned that when our emotions are threatened in any situation, it can provoke us. We have internal barriers that are already within us that sometimes cause complications in our life. I have, as I said, some bad habits. This is another thing that must be considered. One of them is, as I said, the facial expressions, and I do have concerns about that. Um, I heard mom used to say, "Don't let your good be evil spoken of." Truly, that means things that you're seen doing, but it could be your attitude. People perceive you as wrong or ill will, and that you don't have empathy or care for them. Um, Through this process, making it work is one of the other things that I've considered. I know that empathy is a powerful factor. You need this in listening. You have to listen with an open mind, and you review your own self each and every day in this process, because what you're trying to do is improve. You have to keep an open mind, but with everything that you do, you can't be judgmental at all. Non-judgmental is an important factor. I have to reset my external distractions, things that have happened in my life, to make sure that this is not an issue, especially in counseling, because you want to be honest with people. So you have to be considerate of that. Causing myself to use nonverbal effects. That's also another important stage. As I said, there are distractions, so I have to be aware of those that distractions. Be very conscientious of what I am saying. It's like when we were going to go through the inhaling and exhaling scenario. I thought about, even in this case, when you inhale, you're taking in so much of what a person is saying, and you have to sit there and let it just like stir slowly, so that before you respond, you have time to think about it and really renegotiate the answer that you want to give to that person. Being biased is not one of them. Another thing is your attitude. Am I thoughtful? Of course, I'm thoughtful. I'm a problem solving person that was sort of acknowledging my blended personality. I'm that go getter that wants to go and help everybody. So, still again, every job out there is not necessarily for me that I'm the one that has to pursue it. I have to avoid the fact of advice giving. People always want to come to you for advice. Well, you have to be very, very cautious of that. Because sometimes advice can make people be very disheartened towards you, especially when you're thinking about your personal friends and the advice they need. So you have to think and find cues to guide them to make them think of the process and what it is that they are really trying to achieve by receiving advice from you. Perception. Perception. How do you perceive what you have heard? Now, as people are listening to me, I'm sure that they will perceive, well, maybe she's knowledgeable or not. But at the same time, you must be knowledgeable. Anytime you have to translate information to another, you need to be knowledgeable. You have to study and you have to enhance your skills using your choice of words and everything that you do, because people perceive you differently in every time. And as I said earlier, you must take the time to inhale the message. Take time for it to stir, and you really take time to realize what has been said. That's why many times clarity is important. My personal directives, you think about your childhood support on that measure. Was your parents loving and the kind-hearted, motivating you, pats on the back, rubbing you, encouraging you, and letting you know that you were in a loving environment? Or did you have those parents who were get your silly foolishness self out the way, or demeanored you in any kind of way? Well, your personal directives when you become adult is geared around that, and how did you respond to others and to your own children. So, we have to be cautious even with our own children. And when you work in the school system, you got to remember you're molding someone. And what you say, as an authority figure is important. And so this is why empathetic listener plays such a part. Uh, Being an empathetic listener will gain you much room because of your empathy. It shows that you do care about the person. You're showing concern. But the main thing that a lot of people don't realize is that you have to trust someone. Just like you trust that when you go to talk to your pastor, that he has an empathetic listening ear and will be very considerate of what it is you're saying. One of the other tools that I find that's going to be advantageous to me is the TLC, the Talker Listener Card. I think this is a very great tool that I'll be able to utilize. I think I want to have fun with it at the same time. And I have nieces that I can test it on, placing a card on the table and noting how they're distracted by, really wanting to know what that card is about. Attention, my attention in communication is very important. I must definitely make sure that I don't get sidetracked. Someone's talking and you have a tendency, a mental distraction about what happened on yesterday. How can I repair this? Well, these are things that we have to be conscious of, that we don't, put that rebuttal in there and cause conflict in the communication process. So that's gonna be a great card, and I just enjoyed the idea of being able to talk and to listen and allow someone else the opportunity at the same time. To sum it all up, to enhance my performances by use of the performative measures that I have learned in the listening skills book, remembering my blended personality and what I seen as an issue, how I want to repair things. It's going to be a hard job, but if I'm consecutively doing this, it won't. Repetition is good. When you repeatedly do anything, it becomes a part of you. And that's just like with our Christian walk. Things that we do that are right, it can become a part of us. We know that we must be sensitive to our environment, to the environment that that person lives in, understand their culture, that there could be biases there. So we definitely don't want to form no type of opinion that will become hurtful or cause a block, a barrier. People have their own barriers already. So this is a growing process for me, and I've enjoyed this opportunity. And these are going to be great tools that I'll be able to use in the future.